YouTube is messing with me again this morning, saying I didn't have my phone oriented the correct direction while I was starting. So, excuse that funky start. And this funky start as I rearrange my mess here. How was your weekend? Mine was, yeah, I'm still feeling frazzled. Let's just say that. All right. So, welcome to Spirituality in Sin City. If you have not been here before, I come on every 5 mornings a week and do a little random collage art in my journal about the card of the day that we draw at the end of each show. So you will know, you kind of have two cards of the day-ish about the mood that is happening, the energy of the moment. And, well, today's theme is the Ace of Clubs, which is about striking while the iron is hot. This is the tarot card version from the Awesome deck, which I made. And the Ace of Clubs is, it's representative of fire energy. I like to think of it as, well, as I was taught, it's like the very, very first spark in what grows into a giant forest fire, shall we say, into a giant flames. I mean, if you've ever watched that happen, or hopefully you can imagine it. Hopefully you know why we are very careful with fire. Why we don't want people, ashing their cigarettes or throwing lit cigarettes out of their cars and things like that. Just one tiny little spark is all it takes to start something huge. In the case of a fire, generally a huge problem. But in the same kind of way, the Ace of Clubs is here to tell you that a single spark can turn into something huge in a good way. It just takes one step in the right direction to grow sometimes. So I always come, excuse the shaking, I always come prepared with some extra quotes for you. This is the Awesome Journal. If you want to learn a little bit about each card and or take notes on your 3-card tarot readings, this is available on Amazon. And so I found some good stuff about taking the initiative, taking the first step, doing what it takes to get there. And I always look at multiple scriptures. I try to get quotes from multiple scriptures. But today, well, I didn't feel like sharing the quotes from anything other than the Bible and some thought leaders, shall we say. From James 2:17 in the Bible, faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. As a former churchgoer, well, I still sometimes go to church, just usually not Christian church. This is something that I was taught quite a bit. I remember hearing it in church a lot. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this ace to stick down as well as possible before I start trying to cover it. So, anyhow, I recall hearing this verse, faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead, a lot when I was growing up and going to Christian church. But I feel we all need to be reminded of that verse. All of us. I don't care if you're religious, not religious, I'm thinking of politics and trying not to say it here. Guys, everyone on every side is just being a jerk a lot of the times, myself included. And, faith, whether we're talking about what you believe politically or what you believe religiously, it doesn't mean anything if you don't act it out. So if you're out there and saying that you believe that you deserve to make a better living, that you're being discriminated against, that you, um, you know, corporations have gotten benefit, or say you're the big corporation owner and you're saying that the employees don't understand your side. No matter what, you need to make sure that your actions are in alignment with what you're preaching. Otherwise, what's the freaking point? Um, Influencers, there's a good example. Influencers, I was just watching one this morning. This is a silly example, but it's an excellent point. About an influencer who got paid to do an advertisement for Crocs. And she said that she was going to wear Crocs at Coachella. And that this was what you should do because otherwise your feet are going to hurt the whole time you're there. Crocs are the way to go. But then she didn't wear Crocs at all while she was there. She wore very cute, uncomfortable shoes. And although giving out looks, shall we say, planning her looks in advance and um, sharing those with other people so they can follow her style, she never did one with the Crocs, even though she said you should wear Crocs. She never showed you how to wear Crocs and make it look cute. So faith, sorry, I'm pointing at the book you can't see. Faith could be similar to belief. She claimed, she believed, she said she would have faith that you should wear Crocs, but then she didn't act it out. And so all of her followers are very mad and are now seeing through her because it's all just about talk to her, basically. And don't talk about it if you don't actually believe it and actually want to follow through. Yeah. Vice versa. There's a lot of people. I saw another thing on Reddit where I'm not sure I totally understood what their question was, but it was something along the lines of, why do people spend all of their time planning and then never get around to actually doing the thing that they said they were going to do? Why don't they actually do it? So I'm going for random today because I'm not really, I'm in a mood. So I'm struggling to come up with this art project. And so, just as the card indicates, I am just going to move forward. I'm not going to sit around here thinking all day about what I want to, where I want to put all of these pieces on this paper. I am just going to start gluing. I'm going to take the initiative and get the work done. And that's what this card is all about, right? So maybe that's why I'm supposed to be sitting here. I mean, for a little while before we started filming, I was just sitting here and staring at the page and not knowing what I wanted to do. Wasn't sure how I was going to move forward other than just turning on the camera and talking to you and doing it. And ironically or not, that is exactly what this card is all about. And on that note, the next quote is exactly that in a way. Rumi, as you start to walk on the way appears. We're walking now, are we not? Woo! Throwing glue. Metaphorically speaking, we are walking into whatever this is going to be, and we are just doing it. Just putting stuff down and going with it. Because as we do it, hopefully what we want to happen, even though we don't know what we want to happen, will appear. I have actually, especially in the case of art, had that happen many, many times. Highly recommend this method. Which brings me to the next quote about taking the initiative. Probably the best one I have ever found. This is from Francis of Assisi. He said, start by doing what's necessary, i.e., ripping the papers, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. Pretty cool, right? I really like that idea. Not sure what the impossible would be for this particular artwork, but there's many things in life that this applies to. Um, Learning a new skill and stepping your way to a new career, you start by learning the skill. Then you do whatever is possible. You do what you can with that skill. Then eventually, someday, you do the impossible by just continuing on and on and on with your path. And yeah, and on that, by doing that, you will prove Mark Twain correct. He said, the secret to getting ahead is getting started. Secret to getting ahead is getting started. So, question then is, what are you going to get started on today? What do you need to get started on today? What is one little step that you can take? Is there something like what I'm doing right now that you need to do, where you've been trying to plan it and make it all perfect for long enough, and you just need to start putting something down, see what happens? Do you have a project like that? Well, Thomas Edison said, vision without execution is hallucination. Vision without execution is hallucination. So, don't spend too much time sitting around just planning, because basically, I don't like that. Basically the equivalent of just hallucinating your idea and never actually, never actually doing anything. And that's not so cool, right? Well, I don't know. Still not stoked with that line there, but we're going to go with it because we are just sticking. Stick, 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 stick. That is the plan. That is how we move forward sometimes. So, if you happen to be joining after the fact, thank you for tuning in. I'm always happy to answer your questions about playing cards tarot, cartomancy, anything, art, whatever you got for me. And I am here hoping to come in contact with some of those people who find playing cards out in the wild and would like some information on what the card means. I am doing research and art on playing cards tarot, and trying to show, excuse me, I'm trying to show that tarot is real in any logical manner that I can come up with. So one logical manner being someone finds a playing card and says, hey, I was thinking about X, Y, and Z, and I found this playing card. What could it possibly mean? And then I can tell them whether or not that card actually correlates with what the meaning of that card actually correlates with what they were thinking. Now, I realize some people would probably prefer, many people would probably prefer not to say what they were thinking before getting the meaning of the card, because they want to know if I'm for real. They don't want to guide the info, don't want to help me make it sound applicable to their life. But we can do that in whatever order we want. I can come back to them with the, well, you can make it sound applicable as well, just as much as I can. So, either way, this is just one way that I am trying to show that tarot is real. The most prevalent, the number one way that I am trying to show this is through poker. I am analyzing poker hands from a tarot perspective and showing by reading the cards and showing the poker action. I am helping show that the two are associated. And I'm actually literally tracking some of the cards, the so-called luckiest and least lucky cards. And sorry, I'm extremely ineloquent today. I'm tracking where and when the luckiest and least lucky cards appear. That's what I took the initiative to do. And I have a spreadsheet where I check off, yes, this card appeared, this card did not, and then I mark down if something lucky happened. Did the pre-flop favorite win? Did the mathematical favorite win the hand? Or did someone get lucky in that way? And did the odds flip more than once? Did they flip at the exact moment that the luckiest card appeared? Anyhow, that's enough blabbing from me today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this quick lesson. Oh, I'm not done. We need to draw a card for today. For today. What more do we have? A little more advice for you. Excuse me. Oh, okay. Awesome deck. What advice do you have for us today? Tell us what we need to know. What we need to think about for the next 24 hours. Besides getting started, what else do we need to know? What advice do we need today? Very similar energy to Ace of Clubs. This is the Queen of Assertiveness. So, drink in this image, read these little words and phrase, and come back tomorrow. I will tell you more about the Queen of Clubs. Thank you so much for joining me, and have an awesome day.